Well, being a branding guy, I love the way that people's names are, and you have a really cool name, being Rocky Stark, so that's pretty incredible and powerful, so I can't wait to jump into your show. Greetings, Signature Studio Spotlight. This is John Butler, the bald guy in the red tie, with the Studio Spotlight series, where we shine the spotlight on somebody that's oh so bright here at the brokerage. And today we have a very special guest. We have Rocky Stark. Those are two powerful names.
Yep, I know.
I love it. So are you doing any branding with your name?
I'm not. I know. Like, what, do I dress up as Iron Man? Or, I mean...
Iron Man with Rocky boxing gloves.
Right. So when I first started, my slogan was, I'll go the extra round for you.
Ooh.
Yeah, people started taking it the wrong way.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Just started making jokes and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
never mind. So I took that off of everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm half Rocky Balboa and married to Iron Man, I wish.
That would be a good husband, huh?
Right, yeah, and I wouldn't be doing real estate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. You're married to a billionaire that has a flying Iron Man suit.
I'll keep my
That'd be cool.
license just in case.
Yeah. So is Rocky your real name?
No, it is Raquel.
Okay.
My dad named me after Raquel Welch, but changed the way you say it. Do you know who that is, Raquel Welch?
No, but I'll agree for a conversation's sake. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, she's very famous in the late 60s, I guess. And changed the way you say it to Raquel. But then I guess Rocky Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock's father, was a boxer and a very spicy one. I guess I was a spicy, feisty little girl, and he started calling me Rocky Johnson, so it stuck.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I like knowing how people get their names or their nicknames.
That's it.
So.
It just stuck. Yeah, and it's funny because when people, if I'm talking to people online or texting or whatever, and then when I meet them, they're usually like, "Oh, thought you were gonna be a man." I'm like, "Nope."
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my name Rocky.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how long you been doing real estate for?
8 years.
8 years. So you got started right after things were starting to kind of pick up.
Yeah, I've had my license buying and selling houses for 8 years. When I was 16, so I graduated early from high school, and I was 16 years old, so I had a half day. And I was always interested in it because my grandma, I told you a little bit about my grandma. And so I would get off school and I would drive up to this guy's house. He was a painter, and I would answer his phones for half a day. And then flash forward 3 years later, he had an entire construction service network company, 2 commercial office buildings and 12 residential homes that he was renting out. And I was in charge of all of that at 19 years old.
Wow.
So it was fun. I loved it. I always loved business, watching my grandma growing up, and I always loved houses and buildings, and then I got married, and that kind of all went, babies came. So I mean, in that sense, I was in real estate very early. And then flash forward to, what are we, 2020? So how many years is that?
2012?
Yeah, yep, 2012.
That's
Got my
cool.
license and hit the ground running.
So are you a single agent or are you on a team kind of agent?
I am single. I'm a single agent. I've never been on a team. In the beginning, I just hit the ground running and was kind of like, I need my money because I didn't have any. I needed my commissions.
Right.
I couldn't share.
I'm not giving up 60%. Yeah.
I couldn't share, and just had kids to take care of. And then now I've had a couple, people think I left for a year because I didn't come into the office for a year. I just needed to work from home and focus. And so a couple people have asked, are you thinking about joining a team? I'm like, no.
Well, and that's the thing about this brokerage is that we have that interesting mix. We have the single agents, which I'm a part of. I'm a one-man show kind of thing. But it seems like the teams that can do it well, like KSA and whatnot, they have a very successful structure to what they do. And they do a great job at it,
Yeah.
But I see also in other brokerages or just in the business in general that people will join a team and then it just doesn't work out for one way or the other.
Yeah.
Someone's either doing all the work and getting half the pay or vice versa.
And I think for me too, it's not just the money. But I've been controlling my own future now for 8 years. So I think giving up some of that control would be really hard for me. From what I hear, also some of the teams, once you get a deal going, then that gets managed by someone. And I love my client interaction.
Yeah.
And my clients would not like it if I disappeared.
Agreed.
So that's huge for me.
So is your business primarily built off like repeat and referral business, or?
Yeah. So up until COVID, all of my business I got from open houses, just face to face, and it was always a joke. It was like, if you meet me and you're thinking of buying and selling, you're going to use me, and they did. And then COVID hit, couldn't do that anymore. Luckily, by that time, I had past clients, referrals, and everything. But I kind of freaked out at the beginning of COVID because I'm like, I don't do Zillow leads. I don't do all of this stuff. I do open houses.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, my lead gen just kind of.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. So, and then I thought, I had just sold my rental house, and so I had some, I had a nice little cushion, and I thought, well, I'll just write it out, but didn't go away.
Yeah.
So just lately I've been hustling more. I was like, I better get back into the game here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of the business? Is it more of the listings, or is it more buyers, or?
I like both. I think last year I was pretty split evenly.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part is it would probably be buyers,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's just so cool. It's just so cool that, especially first-time home buyers, like, it's just so cool at the end to
Very rewarding.
It is so rewarding, and
Yeah.
even sellers, like when you go through a hard escrow, and that too, like they're trying to get somewhere, and if I can make that happen and protect them from all the crud that goes on behind the scenes, I love it all.
There's a lot that happens behind the scenes that the
Definitely.
general public doesn't know about.
Yeah, definitely.
There's an old joke saying that there's two things you don't want to see made. That's sausage and then laws being made. Well, I would add a third one. You don't want to see how a real estate transaction is done in the background.
Definitely.
It gets sloppy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's been yeah. One time I had to tell a lady who was living with her boyfriend with 2 kids and had been for years in an apartment, and she qualified and everything, but when her credit came back, she was still married and she didn't know.
Oh.
And her ex-husband just thought all they had to do was just file the paperwork and walk away. And so she couldn't get the house. She couldn't get a loan without his credit on there. So I had to call the ex-husband. Who she's like, he won't talk to me. Who thinks he's divorced also. And she said, hi, this is Rocky Stark. And I had to tell him he was still married. And he was very surprised. And he didn't want us to run his credit and didn't want to help at all. So I actually convinced her to pay off one of his credit cards, and then he let us run his credit. So.
That's negotiating.
And like, what if we pay off this $500?
Hey, sometimes you got to pull out the weirdest angles
I know,
to make things
so
work.
weird. Yeah.
I heard it say that we're called realtors, but sometimes we're miracle workers.
Yeah, I don't know why we're everything.
Yeah, and there's some awkward conversations that have to be had sometimes.
Definitely.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I gotta love this business.
Yep.
And so, are you a California native?
I am.
Okay, so
Orange
where are you?
County.
Orange County. Okay.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Yeah, so not too far from here.
No. Grew up in Orange County. Went to Tustin High, and moved out here when I got married because we couldn't afford a house in Orange County.
Yeah.
So bought our first house at an auction, and been out here ever since.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then, so did you raise your kids out here?
Yeah, my oldest was 2 when I moved out here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had 2 more. They all grew up around here.
Yeah, boys or girls?
I have 2 girls and a boy.
Who's the oldest?
My oldest is my daughter, Tori,
Mm-hmm.
and then Madison, and then Trevor.
Very cool. So the boys bring up the tail end there.
She's my baby boy.
Yeah, the baby boy.
Who's turning 20 on Friday.
He's always gonna be the baby though. Huh?
Oh yeah, you can tell he was spoiled. He was
the favorite.
I mean, he'll do anything I
Yeah.
ask, but I was like,
Yeah. Do any of them have any interest in getting into real estate and following your footsteps?
he actually studied for his license and went and took the test very recently and just completely flaked out. He's sitting on the couch. His test was at 6 p.m. He's sitting on the couch doing a crash course on YouTube, which I wish I could remember which one it was because it was actually really good.
Yeah.
And he went and took it, didn't pass, but he goes, Mom, I know which ones I didn't get. And I go, can you imagine if you actually tried? Like, go take it again.
Yeah.
And he's a musician. He's my,
Creative
he's
type.
got albums out. He's on Spotify. And,
Nice.
he's my musician. And so I think initially it was just like, I see like mom stepped up and is like making a life with this. And he kind of wanted to do it. But I can't see him. Like, he would definitely be my paperwork person maybe, or I can't see him in the hard conversations like we just talked about, you know, and so
it's not for the faint of heart. It's a very challenging business.
Yeah. And you have to take nothing personally. I don't know if you've ever read the 4 agreements.
Yes.
Yeah. And so one of the agreements is take nothing personally, and you definitely have to incorporate that into your business.
Yep. Yeah, because sometimes it's this business gets tough.
Yeah.
And it'll keep you up at 3 a.m. just staring at the ceiling like, oh my God, is this happening?
I know, definitely. And then I feel, which I probably shouldn't, but sometimes so responsible for like making it right and perfect for them, you know? So
I know, and sometimes we take on too much where it's not our responsibility. It's like, well, I'm sorry you haven't taken care of your credit for the past 20 years, but here, let me try to fix and help that for you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But it's the things we do to make the dream work, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you meet Susan?
I met Susan because I was at a different brokerage, and it was right in David Serpa's heyday. He was here, and I'm good friends with David still. And so I would see David on social media, you know, and
he's quite the promoter.
Yes, and I was like, that's the kind of brokerage I want to be at. It was just so different from where I was. It was like people helping each other and collaborating, and you know, not the top producers weren't going in their offices and shutting the door so you couldn't hear what they were doing, you know, and not that I want to eavesdrop on everyone, but you know, it was just such a culture of collaboration, which is our motto. And so I came over here to interview with Susan, and it was just, I mean, instant clicking. I think Susan instantly clicks with everyone, but
it's hard not to fall in love with Susan when you meet her.
Right.
She's a dynamic force of nature.
Right. And I wanted to be Susan when I grew up.
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, she
too.
was a role model for me. She still is, because, you know, she was who I was and still am, was a single woman making it happen, and, you know, still dealing with very hard things, but also having a business. And so I needed that at that time. I needed a change in who I was around.
Yeah.
And someone really positive like Susan, who was doing what I wanted to do.
She is an interesting character, isn't she?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, she's normally on the show. However, she was not able to make it today, but she might come stumbling through in a little bit. Hopefully, she'll catch the tail end of the show, because she always brings in the Susan energy.
She did lure me here by saying, it's just like you're coming to talk to me for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Lies.
That's how you boil a frog, you know.
Yeah.
You just start turning up the heat.
Well, we're doing just fine without you, Susan.
Yeah. We should have had a cardboard cutout of her or something. We should have printed out her face.
Right there, like at the baseball games.
Yeah. Oh gosh, COVID style interviewing.
Yeah.
And okay, so you had an instant connection with Susan. And because you guys, it sounds like, have had a similar path in life as far as maybe some things that you've gone through.
Yeah, I think so. I know that we were both married and divorced, and both churchgoers, and interested in real estate. I just surrounding myself with what I liked about here too was there were top producers that were women, and it was supported.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever want to be that crazy busy. I just want to be comfortable, but it was good to be around people like that.
Absolutely, and I'm kind of in that same boat as you. Is that you know, I'm in the age of life, or the season of life, where, you know, I'm raising 3 kids, and it's like I want to be there. I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I don't want to be the dad that's always at work kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm still young, so I figured once they're 18 and out of the house or whatever, I can go full throttle.
Oh,
in.
you think they're leaving when they're 18?
Isn't that how it works? So when I turned 18, I got the 18-20 treatment. You know what that is? When you turn 18, you got 20 minutes to move out. So I hit the ground running. So
I got you beat. I moved out at 17. So.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to. I was like, I'm out of here.
So you definitely strike me as somebody that's a very independent, strong woman type.
Yeah, I think I've always been that way. Just like I told you before, my grandma, who I keep bringing up, so I might as well talk about her. I watched her in the 70s. She was a real estate agent back when, like, the MLS was this big book that you threw in the back of the car.
And the contract was 2 pages.
Yeah, and she would take me with her, and she was always just dressed in these really cool late 60s dresses, and she was doing it. And she was a single woman, and I mean, that was back in the time when women just barely got the right to have credit cards or loans without men signing for them, and so it was a big deal. So she was really independent. And I remember, might be a bad story, but I remember one Christmas we were over at my dad and my stepmother's. And my stepmother, I have stepsisters as well, and my grandma came to drop. She's like, "Can we come drop presents off?" I'm like, "Okay." And my grandma came in with, there's three of us, me and my two sisters, literally like a tower of presents for each of us, wrapped in a bow, just like on purpose. She went, and I don't know, I'll never forget that. I was just like, I want to be able to do that for people, so I ended up with most of her jewelry from those days, and so when I'm out showing houses or something, I always have something of hers on. Like, this is hers.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's real or not.
Is she still around?
She's not.
Okay.
No, so she never saw me become an agent. So I kind of keep her with me in her jewelry.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful tribute.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like she's really had an impact on you.
She did, yeah. She really did. My mom, I would say, was less strong. Mm-hmm. And so not how I wanted to be when I grew up. Mm-hmm. So it was my grandma.
So your grandma, was that her mom?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
And so, man, she was kind of like an OG in real estate back in the day.
She was, yeah. She was a little hottie, too.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. She like flaming red hair.
Well, so you have like darker hair and stuff. Are you Italian or what's your?
I'm Portuguese.
Portuguese
and Polish.
Is that what Stark is?
Stark is my married name.
Married name.
So
okay,
my maiden name was Gamski.
Gamski. Okay.
Yeah. So Polish.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's what's neat about the whole like 23andMe and whatever.
Yeah.
It is, the
I did
DNA
that.
test
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So are you from all over the place?
I did have a lot of Portuguese and then European, but I know it's Polish. And then it's funny because my mom would always tell us that we had a lot of Indian in us, that we were Cherokee and Choctaw, and like constantly, just like my whole life. And I just did this like 3 years ago, and the results came back, and she would tell us that our ancestors walked the Trail of Tears.
Right.
So we get it back, and there's no Native American at all.
Kind of an Elizabeth Warren kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and then I was talking to a friend of mine, the same age, and she goes, "My mama would always say that too,"
yeah.
And she took it nothing. I'm like, maybe that was just like what everyone wanted to be back then. I don't know.
I guess.
No Native American in me at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, but my mom still says there is. She thinks that the test lied.
The stories that were told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you see for the future for your business here?
That's interesting that you asked me that, because after I kind of relaxed and sat at home for a few months because of COVID, I was like, I need something else. It's like when I got divorced, I hit the ground running. I had gotten my real estate license secretly, and so hit the ground running, built that business, and then about like last year, I was like, okay, I did it, and everybody, meaning my kids, everyone's healthy, mentally, spiritually, on their own path now. I did it, and that was my motivation for 8 years. So I was like, well, what do I do now? Because my only motivation for me is I love to travel. So, and I've traveled quite a lot, and I would like to continue. So after that, I'm like, okay. So, I get bored easily, especially when I've accomplished what I thought my goal was. So I came and talked to Susan. I'm like, what do I do? Like, that's when I was like, do you think I should join a team? What should I do? And so what I ended up doing, which is super fulfilling, I love it, is I'm still just my own agent, but I'm mentoring the kids on Michael Urane's team.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we meet, there's only one right now. I shouldn't say kids. The young adults.
Sexton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so we meet once a week on Mondays and just talk about what he needs to talk about. And there's a couple other agents coming on, and I really like that. In fact, I was going to have to not do that if I went on another team, and I was like, no, this is what I like.
Mentoring is really rewarding, because it's really cool to watch somebody blossom,
right?
And you've been watering that flower, and then they just take off with
Definitely.
it. It's really cool to see.
I love it. I mean, we've only met 3 times, and I was like, I get more agents so I can do this.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I don't know where that's going to lead. I would like eventually, hoping that we can grow Michael's team, and like I'm just the team mentor for 15 agents. I don't know, but I think I would really like that. Like I would like to be in the office more, and sharing knowledge. And it's weird for me to even say like I have knowledge to share, but I do because I did it. And
well, compared to someone that has never done anything, like
Yeah.
they look at you like you're a giant. It's like because man, after you've gone through a couple of transactions,
right. I mean, right.
You've been through the jungle. I love it when it's their first deal and they're just wide-eyed and just panicked the whole time. You're like, yeah, this is what you signed up for. This is real estate.
It's fun, huh?
Welcome to the business. And just wait till you got 10 more all going on at the
right?
same time.
I
And
know.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just am kind of getting started. I don't know. I don't have where I see myself in 5 years. Maybe not hitting the pavement as heavily as I am right now, but we've all been crazy busy with buyers. But I don't know. So it would definitely be something where I can be working with people a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm not a cubicle on the phone by myself girl.
Well, that's what's great about this business is that if you want to have an office day and just hunker down at the computer and just do that, you could do that. But if you want to go out and go see houses and
Right.
cocktail parties or whatever it is, it can be the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great business for that.
Yep.
And then referrals are fantastic.
Referrals are wonderful.
Mailbox money,
Yeah.
So it's good times.
Yeah, and it feels good. It's like, oh, I did do a good job for them, and they recommended me to their friend. That's nice.
Yeah. It's a powerful place to be, and it's really cool to see you succeeding in that.
Yeah, thank you.
And so you're pretty active on Facebook. I see you pop up a lot on my timeline.
I don't know. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just my bubbly personality.
Well, your name pops out because it's Rocky Starks.
That's
like,
true.
wow.
Yeah.
It has an impressive.
It's true. I've had people. I used to wear my name tag a lot, and people would stop me constantly. Like, "Is that really your name?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really my name. No, I just made it up. So yeah, I guess it pops up a lot.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, so how's COVID affected you for this year? I mean, I know you kind of mentioned it about that slowdown during the March phase.
Yeah,
of
and
things.
I think with everyone else in the beginning, we were all kind of like, "Uh-oh, what's this mean for the business?"
Yeah.
And then it took off unexpectedly the other way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when it first hit, I was like, oh, great. I need to
Yeah.
go get a job at McDonald's. My
Yeah,
career's
whatever.
done. I'm over.
Well, I mean, halfway through, I was kind of like, I'll go work anywhere. I'll go work at, not that it's a bad thing to work there, but I'm like, I'll go work at Kohl's. I just need to get out of here, But Kohl's wasn't open, so it hasn't really affected me. I was lucky enough to be able to take a break without it impacting me too much.
great.
So I'm very grateful for that. And nobody in my family has gotten ill or. It really, I mean, I hate to say it hasn't affected me because it's affected so many in such a bad way, but I am one of the fortunate ones for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's say 40 years from now, you're on your deathbed and you look back over your life.
Probably will be.
You look back over your life. What do you want to be your legacy? What do you want to be known for?
I want, especially for my kids, because my kids know where I came from, and I was a totally different person. I know, and they already do feel this way, but I just want to keep going. But I want my kids to just know that I was strong for them. And they do, and they tell me that. But, I just want them to see the progress I made, and it was all because of them. And I want them to, take that and project that onto their children. It's like, because...
So you could be that grandma.
I could be my grandma.
Yep.
So...
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if, people say legacy, and, I'm not... It's not to have, the biggest business or...
Sure.
It's just to be a kind, loving person. So when I bought my house... which was a huge deal. I bought my house, and I've purposely created a place where it's all positive energy. It's all kindness, and everybody's welcome. I have a sign that says "Be nice or leave," and
That's cool.
yeah, and everyone's accepted and welcome, even though maybe I don't agree with you on something or whatever. But it's a safe place, I guess, is what I'm looking for. It's a safe place to land for anyone who needs a safe place to land. So, and I did that on purpose because kindness was missing from my life for so long. So I would want people to remember that about me as well.
You've gone through some challenging times in your life, and where kindness was not there. And I think when there's the absence of light, that's when you find the light, that inner light.
Definitely, I had to. It was it just got to the point where I remember my first therapist appointment, and I was so confused, and I just sat down and go, I think I'm crazy. And then after a while, he's like, no, you're not. So I had no choice. If it was just me, I probably would have died there.
Right.
Because it was really, really hard getting out. But I had to. I couldn't let my kids, they were already, I think, 12, and one was in college, so 12, 16, and 19. And I was like, I have to let them see there's more than this. Like, this isn't real life. I mean, it is real life, but this isn't how everyone treats each other. There's so much more out there. And so they were definitely my driving force.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're your saving grace almost.
They were, definitely. And then you know, you get out of a situation like that, and you see light everywhere. You know, like, I remember people asking me questions when I was at Rancon Real Estate before, and people would ask me questions, and I would call my best friend who founded Cornerstone. So anyway, I remember back when I was at Rancon Real Estate, and that was my first brokerage, and just coming out of that situation, I think I was telling you, you finally see what's normal, and it's kind of freaky and it's scary. But I would have people call me or text me or whatever, you know, and ask me questions or come to me in the office. And I felt like I was a newbie. You know, I still feel like I'm a newbie. And they would ask me questions, and I would call my friend Brenda from Cornerstone, and I would be like, they're asking me questions like I know what I'm doing. And she's like, you do know what you're doing. Like, hang up and go live, you know? And so you're not used to that. You're not used to just normal life, or I wasn't, to just normal life, you know, expecting everyone to make fun of me or make me feel dumb or whatever. And so to get out of that and to get into real life was amazing. It was just,
it's hard having to have a partner that does those kind of negative manipulations to the mind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that you were able to find that light amongst that darkness.
And it's very gradual. And I was young when I got married, and you know, it kind of got worse and worse. And so you don't know that every marriage isn't like that. You don't know. I just thought it was normal, and then come to find out after, because I'm still friends with a lot of the same people, and now they tell me, they're like, well, yeah, we always thought this was weird, or we always thought it was like, you guys could have clued me in.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for telling me. Appreciate that. Jeez.
I know. So, but you know, that's all. It definitely made me who I am. I always felt. I feel like now that that's over, that I'm finding who I was when I was 19 years old and running the business for somebody. And I mean, I would go pick up the rents at the residentials, and they were all cash. I'd go pick up the rent, and I'd have $80,000 in my car at 19 years old, and I'd call my boss and be like, banks are closed. And he's like, all right, just go home and do it in the morning. And I'd have all this cash. Like, who does that?
Yeah, right.
But I was that girl. And I feel like afterwards, after getting out of that and everything, I found her again.
Yeah.
Except now she's a woman, and you know, even stronger. So
what a full circle story. That's
definitely
really awesome.
like I felt like she was always there.
And
Okay, so what did I miss? Did I miss fun stuff? What's your favorite color?
Purple.
It is?
Yeah.
Royalty.
Oh yeah.
That's what they say. I don't know who they are, and I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to believe them because
Yeah,
it's
I've
about
heard
you.
that. Yeah.
What do you like to eat?
Food.
Anything? Me? Is anything. What would you like to eat? Anything. Obviously. No, I just wear blouses with a shirt under it.
Yeah. So that your shirt pops open.
I'm just saying.
You're not inappropriate.
I'm good. Okay, what's your favorite thing to do when you're not at work? Okay, never mind. We have something in common.
oh,
I was gonna say read. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Oh. I was going to read your body language.
this is the Susan effect. This is the Susan dynamic that she brings.
I was like, you have cute slippers on
I
today.
know. Thank you.
Oh, I might have to go get some sparkly slippers.
Patty left them for me when she left. I know, Lion girl.
Did you already talk about how many kids she has?
Yes.
Yes.
And how successful they are?
Yes.
And how they look just like her?
They do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They look.
Yeah.
It's weird. They all do. My oldest has red hair, but she has my face.
Yes.
My middle and my youngest, they look like the same person, and then they both look exactly like me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, so we found out that she's Portuguese and Polish.
Polish.
So where's the red hair come from?
My grandmother again, had red hair.
It's all about grandma.
Yeah, grandma had red hair. So I guess from her.
Oh, well.
Well, and my ex-husband his brother has red hair, so probably from both.
Interesting.
I think you have to get it from both sides for it to.
It's fascinating how DNA works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has brown eyes, so she's like the rarest combination is red hair and brown eyes.
Her children are gorgeous, and they're talented, kind of cool hippie kids like you that think for themselves. You know what I mean?
That's a good combo.
It's beautiful. You've taught them well.
Yeah. Well, I never wanted them to end up like I did, really young. You know,
How did you end up?
Just with somebody else telling you what your mind was. And you know, I just always
and believing it.
Right. So I mean, they just have always been. They're all so different. I mean, Maddie's off cutting down banana trees, and Trevor's making his music, and Tori, my firstborn, is out making contracts and blah 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 in Pasadena. But they all like, no matter what they told me they wanted to do or were gonna do, I always just said okay, because to me it's like just explore it. I mean, now's the time to do it. So just explore it, and if it doesn't work out, you know you can always come back here. So they've been free to, whereas like at least on my side of their life, they've been free to do that and not be ridiculed for something or, you know, gotten mad at because it's not the same beliefs I have or whatever. So I wanted that for them. Even
so it sounds like you've been married before.
A little bit.
For a little while.
A little bit.
Where are you getting in your brain?
Yeah, but
then you start believing it, and you're like, I think there's something broken. I believed that.
What I started to say before
you were so rudely interrupted?
Yes, before this crazy lady came in, was that one of the things that I actually got from that marriage, which is a good thing for me, is I and it serves me well now, is I can manage people and they don't even know they're being managed. I was so good at like managing moods and making everything and but I do it now, but people don't. I mean, clients, that sounds horrible.
No, it doesn't.
But I do it now to keep them calm so we can get to the next step, and they don't even, most of the time they think it's their idea. You know? So that part has served me well.
That's a good skill set.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Managing you right now, no.
Good, because I need it. I'm never going to pretend I don't need that. Give me some management. I'll even take a management pill if you give it to me. I'll make me a better manager. How long were you married?
21 years.
Ooh. Did it feel long or short?
I honestly, I have years I don't remember at all.
Ooh,
so,
how convenient. I wish I could forget some of mine. Give me 22 of those that I can forget.
The other day I was like, I want to go to Catalina. I've never been to Catalina. And my daughter literally, she goes, Mom, you've been to Catalina. And she showed me pictures of like a family trip. And I don't know what happened, but I know I don't want to remember it if I don't. So,
yeah, it wasn't fun then.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
remember. You didn't remember something fun.
Yeah, so.
I've been to Catalina and I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, not after I got there.
Well, I have to go back, so I can remember it.
That's exciting. Let's do a Catalina trip.
Let's do it.
A girl Catalina trip.
Okay.
Do we want to bring boys?
Probably not.
Well, we could bring hers.
Wow. Knew we weren't going to get through this without that coming up.
Uh-oh.
She might have been married for years, but now she's boom, chicka, pow, wow.
Enjoying the dating life?
No, she's as monogamous as they could come, but with a very good reason. What's the reason?
Because I found a kind man who treats me like a queen.
I'm so in the dark here, and I don't know if I want to ask, so I'm really hesitant.
All you have to do is ask, and how old is he?
I don't know.
Rocky is in love with the most beautiful, kind, compassionate, understanding, who adores her and everything about her, younger man.
And I pushed him away for a good year.
Yes, so. She did. I remember that. We were in the book, or what were the AM group or something.
I don't know where we were.
And I'm like, just go for it. What do you care? Yeah. Love is love, and it might not have an age on it.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 years.
That's incredible. Yeah. And now,
so the big elephant in the room, he's literally half my age. So.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. Now I'm
so I'm 51 and he's 26.
So the right.
But if you speak with him and you see him, you speak with him. Most people think he's much older.
Like 27. I'm so sure he's like 27. He is as old as my son.
So much, and I'm like, when we're talking about him turning 30, I'm like, when you have your big boy birthday.
Do you want to know what I love about the world? I would say God, higher power, universe, all that stuff. I love that you had those years where you learned the lessons about yourself, and then here comes this beautiful person who just cares for this person, and that before you die, not that you're going to die anytime soon,
that was kind of
but
the
that
factor.
You experience unconditional love, which is the thing that you always gave. And I think that's why it's hard to receive it sometimes.
And that was the deciding factor. I was like, no. And then I was like,
yes.
It's been a year of him pursuing, and I was like, I have to, like, I finally told, because obviously, at the beginning my kids were like, what the, and I won't cuss in here, but, and I was just like, you guys look, like, you're all grown, and, like, you have your own lives. They all love him now, but I'm going to do this. This is my mistake to make if it's a mistake. And it can't be worse than the last one.
No, it's true.
But I want to experience this, like, once in my life. I want to experience this love that I always thought was fake, that wasn't real. I thought movies were stupid, blah, blah, blah. So I want to experience it. And if I experience it for a little while and then it's over, at least I got to once in my life. Because I never had at that point.
Is that why you're a real estate agent too?
Why?
You just wanted to experience that once in your life.
Yes.
I just want to know what that's like. Let me figure out what this is like. He's adorable, and he's so nice, and so that makes me happy.
Yes.
And I'm glad your kids like him.
They do.
So back to my original question that I answered wrong. I answered with boom chicken ball. Oh. What's your favorite thing to do outside of real estate?
I don't know. Lately it's been working on my house, like,
Yeah.
And I think that's more like, it was kind of a COVID thing, but not really. Because when I bought my house, I was just like in such a frenzied state. I bought it 4 years ago, and it was really just like, that was my goal. Like, I need a house no matter what, so that everyone has a place to go, which I already told you. And it was just a place for me to sleep. Like, I don't, it sounds, as a real estate agent, it sounds awful to say, but I've never attached to houses, even before I was a real estate agent. It's like our first house where my first baby was born and blah, blah. When we moved out of it, I was like, okay, next. And my ex-husband was like, we had to stand in the driveway and look at it. And I was like, but we're done, let's go.
Yeah.
So I don't attach to houses. They're just places to land. But I realized this year that with my house in particular, that I should be really proud of, because I bought it on my own, that I wasn't respecting it or treating it properly, because I didn't honestly think I deserved a nice place.
Right.
So I just came to that conclusion this year. It's like I'm just really careful too with spending money and stuff, which probably comes from before. But it's like, oh, I want to do this in the backyard, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And Matt, he's like, well, do it.
I know, 26? Yeah! That's a good manual
But it was really so it was really a good step for me. I realized in my meditations and stuff, I hadn't really done anything in the house, because subconsciously I didn't think I deserved to have those things. And they're not even big things, because like I said, I'm not super materialistic. I want to spend my money on traveling, so they're just little things.
The living room is really cute.
I know, it's adorable. So my front room is all, we call it the Austin Powers room, so it's all kind of the 60s vibe, and I've got an authentic mid-century couch in there and stuff, and then
fluffiness.
Yeah, furry stuff.
Yeah.
And then the room next to that you haven't seen yet. It's all pink and blue, and
it's exciting.
I got my fake electric fireplace.
Wait, do you still have the
colors.
dog?
I have two. Yeah.
How are they?
The big giant one, the big baby, but she's a giant. She's doing great. And then little Daisy.
What kind are they?
Zoe's a pit lab, and Daisy's, we don't know. She looks just like Zoe. She looks like a miniature. Her little back legs look just like pity legs. But the front doesn't, so I have no idea.
They're lucky to have you.
No.
Did you tell John the secret thing that you can do?
Can you say it in my ear first?
Is this show appropriate, Susan?
Yes, it is.
Oh, are you going to say singing? We already talked about that.
Yes. Did you sing for him?
I'm not going to sing.
You're not? Do you want me to?
If you want to.
She
I'm
wrote a
going
song.
to.
You know, Susan
I
wrote a
know,
song,
I know
right?
she did. And every month she goes, who can really lead the song? And Joe Haas looks at me.
Yeah. Do you love that when you sing a song that it sounds like a song when it comes out?
I don't.
'Cause I
I've
just
never known any
can't-
different, so I don't know.
Oh my
I
gosh.
do miss. I was listening to. I can't remember who I was listening to someone the other day, and I do miss not you know, I was worship leader, but it goes for any kind of singing. I do miss expressing myself that way, of like, you know, it is like you have to work
Well,
on it.
if you miss it, there's a microphone right here. You could
it's
not
the right,
miss it.
It's not the right kind. I will blow
Oh,
this
you want
microphone
this
out.
kind? She can.
Hit the notes and all that.
Yes. What's it called?
I'm
A belter.
I'm a big belter.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna hit my high notes and my falsetto. I don't know.
Isn't
I don't know
that
if I can anymore. I mean,
When's the last time you just cried out in joy?
Living.
I mean, insane. Have you not sang a song lately? If I could sing, I would want to believe that I would sing.
I just, for a while, singing was part of something I didn't want to go back to, like mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, and now it's just singing. There was a lot of like bad energy attached to singing before.
Yeah. But that was their energy, not yours.
Oh, definitely. Right.
And so I think you should sing. Sing a song.
I'm not going to, no matter what you do.
Make it simple to last your
Remember, I was
whole life long.
You're like my mom. I'm
Billy
just-
with the microphone,
I-
trying to adjust everything all at the same time.
I hope that you let that positive energy come out again, because I think it's a gift to the world and the people around you. And I think that you get given those and you should exercise them. You know, you are Rocky Stark.
Rock star, I know.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You have two. You're a superhero and a rock star.
A supo?
A superhero.
I'm thinking the medication hasn't wore off, Susan.
Okay, so yeah.
I told them that I was mentoring for Michael's team.
Good. What would you say is your greatest accomplishment in real estate?
Like, do you mean like emotionally?
Yes.
Like, kind of, like,
Yeah.
or do you mean like the coolest thing that I ever did in a transaction?
Let's do both. Let's do both of those answers.
So I think emotionally, psychologically, or whatever, the greatest thing, as we kind of already talked about, is that in the beginning I didn't have a choice. Like, I hit the ground running, boom, I need to do this. And it was just like the vehicle for me to get there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I did. Like,
Okay.
and that was like I literally look back at some of the things I've done, considering where I was mentally at that point, and I look back and I'm like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like a different person. Like, it's weird. And I know I did it. It was because of my kids. I had to, for them. But,
Yeah.
you know, so now we were talking about that. I'm like, well, now I have to find something else that, like, motivates me just as much as they did. Because now I'm like,
I think
you know,
he's 26.
I'm
Just saying.
I brought this to fan myself. I'm going to hit you with it.
Can I use it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's season of life.
Woo! They even turned on the air conditioner for me. I was like, oh,
Really?
this girl is on fire.
I know, it sucks.
Okay, so, and then coolest thing you ever did?
Well, I mean, one of I thought the best things I ever did was I got my buyer into a house that appraised for $30,000 more than they bought it for.
Wow.
But then they acted like that was no big deal. I was like, you guys know this? Like, I was in that spot of like, I either got to toot my own horn here or just let it go. So,
Oh, you tooted, right?
no, I just
Oh,
was
man,
like,
you
all
should have told me
right,
and I would have tooted.
all right. Well,
I'll toot for you. I'll toot your horn. I will, because you're an amazing real estate
this is
agent.
a couple years ago, so no tooting needed now.
Oh, no.
But
Okay.
thank you.
Do you like working with buyers or sellers?
He asked me that. I like both. Probably more often more fulfilling are buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so happy at the end and they think you're a rock star. But just like when you hand them the keys, especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
That's right now. I've got 2 first-time home buyers that I'm working with, and they're just, and also first-time home buyers actually like look at you like the expert and don't.
Oh, isn't that true?
Like, don't argue everything you say,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
well, Zillow said this, or like they just trust you, which is amazing. It's like, thank you. Like, I do this every day, and I'm here to help you. Let me help you,
Yeah.
instead of fighting me to help you.
So if you could give one piece of advice to a buyer, what would that be?
Use me as your real estate agent.
And your phone number is?
All over the internet.
Just like under Rockstar
Yeah.
or Rocky Balboa and Iron Man.
I don't know what it would be. What would be your number one piece of advice to buyers?
To trust the expert
Yeah.
and believe them that they're there for your best interest.
Yeah.
You know, just because sometimes I think fear, scarcity, fear, that whole mentality, we go in and we're afraid. But we got into this industry because we wanted to learn something so we could help them through that fear.
Right.
And so
And sometimes people
trust us.
come in with such negative connotations about real estate agents.
Yeah.
And like to be the one that can show them that, that's not true, at
Yeah.
least for most of us.
Yeah.
And to, like to get that trust from them, especially like if they have, which happens if they have a mom who used to be an agent in Florida 25 years ago and
Yeah.
literally says in front of you to them, I feel like she's trying to talk you into something. Like,
You don't know my ninja
can you
skill
step
set.
outside, please? No. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, she was definitely got ninja. I mean, managed, not ninja, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard when somebody's got just enough knowledge or they've watched too much HETV,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
they have their idea of how it should be rather than how it actually is done.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah. How about listings? Any
What
piece of
about
advice
them?
for a listing?
I think for the sellers,
Mm-hmm.
I think the same. Trust me. Trust what I say your house should list for. A good lesson I learned is if they know they're over listing and they say they will change in 2 weeks to what you think, they're lying. So I learned that lesson. So now I write it into the contract. But I think that's it. Just right now it's a crazy market, but
Yeah.
in a normal market, you price it appropriately, price it where it should be, and your house is going to sell.
Yeah.
And so
So where do you see yourself in your career in 5 years?
I don't know. He asked me that.
I was trying to ask all the Susan questions.
Okay,
but you weren't
26,
here.
27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
well, no,
Where
he
do you
asked
see
me-
when Matt is 31?
He asked me in 40 years, and I'm like, when I'm dead.
On your deathbed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, still alive.
I was trying to give you to 90, okay?
Thank you.
I don't know if I want to go all the way to 90. I don't know.
Anyway,
Maybe.
I don't know. I was telling him, like, I do really love real estate. And I'm in such a better spot now that I'm, than when you and I spoke
Yeah.
a month ago. Like,
Yep.
I'm busy. I love that. I need to be busy. I work better in chaos. Probably also a holdover from before.
Yeah.
But I don't always want to feel chaotic. And this thing with mentoring the younger agents, I'm loving. Like,
I feel like it's a natural skill set.
I love it. Okay. Cut. No.
We need to take that one out of there.
Oh, Susan.
Would you like me to call Matt to come down? Would you like to interview him?
You know. Remember the first time I met him was
Yes.
he came to pick you up.
Oh,
And
yes.
you were in shy mode in that time. And I looked in the
Yeah.
car and I'm like, he's adorable. You have to go for it. Yeah. I'm glad you persevered
Thank you.
in that and your real estate career.
Thank you. I feel like you want to do a whole show just on me and Matt.
I do. Kind of.
She would make it interesting,
I know.
for sure.
I know.
Okay, what other questions? When you first came to the brokerage, all the people that come here, I get a little bit starstruck because there's so many dynamic people here. Then I found out your name and I was like, this is so cool. I want you to come because of the name. But what you bring to the industry and the wealth of knowledge, integrity, the emotional well-being of the other people, the people around you, I really believe is a beautiful, beautiful life gift.
Oh, thank you.
And I think you should sing for people at the closing. But thanks for being here and letting me be part of this journey, because you make me a better person. And I look at the life that you've lived and I watch you. I just quietly stalk you on Facebook and the motivational things, and when you're having a good day, when you're having a bad day, the one beautiful thing you have and what people can trust in is the transparency to be authentic all the time. And so
I try to do that on
Yeah.
purpose to show people, like, look, I have great days, and everyone is like, you've done so much. But,
Yeah.
but also, like, today I can't get off the couch.
Yeah.
You should know that, too.
yeah. Well, because we're humans and we're
Yeah.
normal and we battle those things and those demons, but the thing that you do is you live your life out loud, which then strengthens another human being. So you do that for me. I know you do it for other people. So thanks for being here and let me be
Thank
a part
you.
of that.
You're welcome.
Because I adore you.
I love you.
I love you more.
I love you, man.
Very well said. Well, Rocky, thank you so much for opening up today, being under the spotlight and shining oh so bright here at the Studio Spotlight Series. And Susan, thanks for making an appearance and bringing that
Yes,
energy.
guest star.
Whirlwind Susan coming
Also, I
through.
got to talk to John. I've only talked to John like maybe once.
Really?
In passing.
Isn't he adorable too?
Yes.
I know. And he's a nice, good person. And he has beautiful children and a very hot wife. Yes.
Yeah?
I've never seen your wife. I've only seen the paper bags.
Yeah, the lunch bags.
Aren't they great?
That's the saddest thing about the whole COVID thing is the lack of going to school and having lunch bags.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'll have to do something else now.
Yeah. At first, I thought you were like stealing those from something else, and then I realized like that's really him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, inside of his brain is a very fun
Yeah.
place to be.
it really is.
Yeah.
It's good times. Well, Rocky, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Susan, thank you so much. And we've had a wonderful show. And you caught the tail end of it, but we covered a lot of ground. So I think when you watch it, you'll be glad to know that I asked all the questions that you asked. What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with Susan Ebert, Rocky Stark, the rock star, the superhero, and the bald guy in the red tie saying, see you in escrow. Bye.